Hello, Coach Bon here. I'm back after a long journey to figure out how to heal the narcissist, and I finally did. I've been under rehab for a few days already. Now I'll explain what rehab means in a bit, but for now I'm going to try to explain to you how to heal a narcissist, I suppose. I don't really know where to start with this presentation, I suppose. And none of the information I have in this video is original, okay? Probably the only original thing about it would be the words that I use to combine them all, but even then those words are borrowed from other disciplines, and probably the way I combine them makes sense of them from each other. Alright, so let's just get on with it. Okay, I have a piece of paper. Doesn't look as nice. But it'll get better in the coming days as I share my insights. Now, I guess we have to start with how I cured myself. Now, if you are familiar with the readings of Sam Vaknin or any other information for that matter, he uses the word the false self, all kinds of weird jargon that most people won't understand. So I like to call it the false anchor. Okay, so I'll be talking about false anchors in a bit, but let's just say for a narcissist, he has a certain false anchor inside of him to survive. And the simple way to fix this is just simply to replace the false anchor with something else. And in this case, I propose a true anchor. Okay, a true anchor can be anything, to be honest with you. But then again, it won't be a true anchor if it's something that's not transcendence, not beyond, not just material, metaphysical things. The better it is, the more transcendent, the better. Alright, that's the TLDR, okay? I cured myself from becoming a narcissist by changing the false anchor into the true anchor. Full stop. If any narcissist does that, then you're cured. That's it. Alright, so for those who want to know more about what I'm talking about, so you can dive right in. Now, I use 3 sources for this, and you can easily go check the sources if you want. So number 1 is, of course, Sam Vaknin. So he talks extensively about narcissism. So my insights are actually not just for narcissism. It can encompass anything else. But for the purposes of this particular YouTube video, and for the audiences that probably is going to watch this, they're going to be interested more in the narcissistic pathology, if I can say it, because the title itself is Healing the Narcissist. And I think it's quite apt. I think it's possible to use the insights I have, that I'm about to give in this video, to help you in other parts of your life. Okay, so the sources that I use, apart from Sam Vaknin's malignant, I'm not an academic, so whatever lah. So Sam Vaknin's malignant self-love or something like that. You go check it out. as I go along, as the videos as I get better and better at my ideas, I'll make it a bit more presentable. But for now, I'll just spew whatever. Okay. Second is, there's a study by Elder Nack, something like that. Okay. I'm sorry, I really don't know any of this. I'm not really academic. Elder Nack. So this guy tells you about how introversion happens, pattern thinking happens, ambiversion, extroversion, whatever. All right, I'll put it properly. I don't know whether it's going to be in this video. Okay, in this video, I'll put it probably in this video, and then you can do what you will with the study. And the third is a book by Anif something about being you. So it gives the latest study about human brain lah. Okay. Now, before we go further, I would like to say thank you to Coach Pete Sapper. Alright, so he was the one who actually made me feel aware about my narcissism, and then started the journey on me trying to fix it as much as possible. Alright, so I've seen Coach Pete Sapper do a lot of things these past few years. And to be honest, Coach, when I first saw you, I think you were close to something. Remember when we talk about Hyokas, empath, and everything? Now you transition into something else. I understand totally why you would do so, as you were trying to find the truth from your perspective. Because you kept, even with the insights you had, you kept destabilizing yourself. You keep destabilizing, and you're trying to figure out, okay, what exactly is making me destabilize? So hopefully with the insights I have, it'll help you to stabilize yourself, Coach. And also, you're better at this than me, man. I suck at this YouTube thing, so maybe the insights I have will help you out. And I also really have to thank him for giving an empathetic eye when I was, raging that time. Okay, anyway, let's go back. Number one, let's talk about the brain. I'm trying not to make it dry lah, so I'll just give it piece by piece. So number one is the brain. Now the brain is a hallucinating object, meaning here it tries to figure out reality. So obviously we don't know what actual reality is. It just comes through the senses from the body, and then the brain has to process it and gives you something to help you out. Now, a lot of people would say the best way for the brain to do this, it's supposed to have a center, and they propose that the center will be survival, okay, which is not so far from the truth, but it's not how exactly the brain works. All right, so the brain has to work with a reference point. I mean, it can't float around. If it floats around, then we're basically crazy people, right? We're just hallucinating stuff. Okay. Now, what happens is the brain requires anchor. Now, full disclosure, all the terms I use is not original. Okay, you can use it as you will, but I will define each as I understand it. Okay, so the anchor in your brain is what makes it stable. Alright? The anchor in your brain is what makes it stable. So a lot of people will call it different names. Me, personally, I will call it Allah, because that's my religion. You might call it Jesus. You might call it whatever, money. It's up to you, alright? You want to put whatever anchor you want in your brain, it's up to you, buddy. Okay? So let's assume you have a true anchor. Alright? Okay, and the true anchor is the God. Okay, the God. Let's put the God lah to make it neutral. The God. So the God will have a lot of different qualities, right? So let's put the God as being the one. So when I say being the one, I mean it has certain qualities that your brain will try to verify. Okay. Now, the brain every time you try to think or give a thought or whatever, it will go through a process that ends in the gathering of stimulus, and then it comes back to the anchor. So what it basically does is it does a loop where it takes the stimulus and then goes back, and if whatever stimulus you get, okay, this is important, huh? It reinforces the anchor, it stabilizes. So it doesn't do it one at a time, of course, right? It's doing it in million times, maybe 2 million times. I don't know, 100 million times perhaps. I'm not a neuroscientific expert, but basically, your brain will just blast out stuff, every idea you have in your head, take a stimuli, comes back to your anchor. Then if the anchor if it proves the anchor, you stabilize. If it doesn't prove the anchor, this is when problem starts. This is when your brain starts destabilizing. Okay? So once it starts destabilizing, what it tries to do is it tries to find a way to stabilize itself. All right? So that's it. That's basically what happens in your brain. Okay, you can believe me, you cannot believe me. It's not really a big deal. All right? Because the thing works. What I mean works is it works. Okay, let's say I'm still a narcissist. Huh? It still works because I can use this information to do all kinds of narcissistic stuff. Huh? All right. So you can believe me. You can just like say, no, I don't believe you. You're too metaphysical or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It works on a realistic level. It works. Okay, anyway, true anchors, huh? Now, anchors exist, in my opinion. This is not an exhaustive thesis, lah. Alright, guys, I'm not an expert in this thing, so whatever information I give out is just basically maybe a framework for you guys to work on. I just know that whatever framework I'm working on here, it works, cured me, okay, out of the cycle. I probably will explain to you how the cycle works. But Sam Vaknin already explained it. He just explained it in a way that nobody can understand. Only him can understand for some reason. Okay, it's not for some reason. He's a narcissist. Okay, he doesn't want all these things to. He wants to make all these things sound complicated. It's not complicated, guys. It's easy. I'm not kidding. Coach Pete, come on, help me out. You get whatever information you have from me or whatever, and then just make it look cool. I mean, you're good at that. Sound cool. You got the energy. You got the charisma. That's what empaths have. They got charisma. Anyway, true anchors. So what are anchors? Anchors are what's in your brain that your brain will try to prove as the truth. And if it's not, and if it's proven as being the truth, it stabilizes the brain. And if it's proven as not the truth, it destabilizes the brain. This is just a simple analysis. I can give you examples, guys, but it's going to be too long. All right, I want to make sure that I promised my kid I'll meet him at 4:30 to play some games, so I got to finish this in 30 minutes. So we're just going to be talking about anchors today. Now, number 2, in my opinion, apart from the true anchor, which really stabilizes the system, is you have this layer of second level anchors. I like to call it observational physical anchor. It's just basically science, okay? I'm just trying to make it sound cool. You can use whatever words you want. Alchemy, whatever, mind alchemy. Coach Pete loves to use that, mind alchemy. It's not wrong. I mean, you can use it. Okay, but I try to make it sound a bit more scientific. So this is the best I can come up with. Okay, observational. Oh, by the way, I use AI. Really useful. Observational physical anchors. So it's just things that you see. You see a cat walking on all fours, then put in your brain lah, cats walk on all fours. Then you suddenly see a cat walking on all twos. It stabilizes your brain. That's what it means. So anyway, so observational physical anchors. There's a lot of different stuff you can put in your brain, but for the purposes of this exercise, I use 4 what do you call this? Anchors for this one, but you can expand it how many you want. Doesn't really matter. All right. So I use it from Buddha. Okay. So in Buddhism, the Four Noble Truths, it says suffering exists. Okay. Number 2, there's an end to suffering. End or cause? I don't know. Cause to suffering, I think. Cause of suffering. And then there's the end to suffering. And then there's a method, right? Method. Okay, there you go. Okay, you can put this in your mind now. You can put anything you want. Doesn't really matter. The brain will try to prove to you that these things are real. Okay, it'll try to prove to you that there is suffering. And damn man, there's suffering everywhere. So instead of making you feel down, it'll make you feel more stabilized when you accept it, there's suffering. And then if you convince yourself there's a cause of the suffering, meaning you can look for it. It just doesn't pop up randomly. It's there somewhere. And then you can end it. Meaning here, there's hope to end the suffering. See, if you don't couple it with those two things, and then don't couple it with this, you just end up with existential nihilism. You say, what's the point? Then I might as well, die. Right? There's too much suffering. It's too much. There's cause. Now I can't do anything about it. So you got to put this third layer in it. And then there's a method to it, meaning here, there's a systematic way to fix these things. Okay? It can't be random ways to fix it. It has to feel like you can fix it. Alright? So you can put your own truth in there. It's up to you. But I like Buddhism. Buddhism's pretty practical. So this 4 truth works for observational physical anchors. And then there's a third layer I like to call temporary anchors. My son likes to call them mini anchors, but I like to call them temporary anchors, meaning here you can use it for a certain period of time, but then once it's done its job, just throw it away. Because the more you keep a temporary anchor, the more chances of you destabilizing yourself. So you use the temporary anchor strategically, just to stabilize yourself. Once you're stable and everything, just throw it away. You don't need to use it. Okay, so temporary anchors could be other people, like for example your parents. Could be a figure that inspires you, like Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins inspired me now, even though now I know he's full of crap, but he still inspired me back in the day, Alright, so all these anchors will help you stabilize yourself. Alright, so as long as you have the true anchor, everything's fine. Okay, now that we talk about anchors, let's talk about narcissists. Now, unfortunately for narcissists, right, the true anchor got replaced. You got replaced with, let's call it false anchor. Why not, right? True, false anchor. All right. So I don't know what does Sam Vaknin calls this, like this false self, whatever lie. Anyway, I like to use anchor, right? So the false anchor is, for lack of a better term, right? You call yourself God, okay? Because you're trying to survive reality, so you call yourself God. I'm God, I'm invincible, blah blah blah, whatever, right? Okay? So you become your own God. I think Sam Vaknin writes this, so don't worry about it too much. So once it's fixed as your true anchor gets thrown away, right? Like pushed to the side. then the false anchor comes in, and you're in trouble. Right? So you spend the rest of your life trying to make sure that the false anchor is the truth, and you get a narcissist. Now, of course, there's certain situations that has to be satisfied for narcissists to exist, but then again, I don't think I will have enough time to speak about it for this particular video. I'll just speak it on another video. Okay, the question you should ask though, did we have a true anchor at the start? I mean, if we had a true anchor at the start, why would we even need to create a false anchor? So here's the best answer that I can come up with. Now, the true anchor exists, obviously. I mean, if it doesn't exist, right? If it doesn't exist, it wouldn't resonate to a lot of people, and then we'd all be going around like destabilized, crazy, okay? But the problem is when you're a kid, I don't know what age, probably you can check Savectin again. When you're a kid, trying to discover this particular true anchor might be a challenge. So you need your mom to stabilize yourself first. Right? Even then doesn't mean that you out of the woods. Well, because I had a pretty good mother. She's stable and everything. Still turned out to a narcissist. I can tell you the story one of these days. But in any case, the true anchor is not put inside your brain at the start of your life. It's out there for you to discover. It's kind of hard. But once you find it, right? Once you find the trick, I don't know what if you call it a trick, call it a truth or whatever, but once you find out the true anchor, everything just clicks into place, like nothing destabilizes you. You feel at peace. All right, that's about anchors. I'll keep talking about anchors the next, if not every video, because the more you understand about anchors, the better it is for you to, or you can protect yourself from narcissists. You can strengthen your stability against all the stresses of life, all kinds of stuff. Okay, so it's 4:30 here in the morning, so I'm like a bit tired. All right, so maybe a lot of you guys wondering what does it feel to be a reformed, not reformed now, right? A former narcissist. So once you snap out of it, right, there's this moment of clarity, like a burden just washes away from you. Like you've been holding on to this concept. You've been holding on to this anchor for so long. 40, I don't know, maybe 40 years for me, maybe even more, I have no idea. It's a struggle every single day trying to uphold that anchor. Then suddenly you just feel peaceful once you let go of it and you decide to hold on to a true anchor. Now I bet there's a lot of people out there that's going to say, you know what, let's put religion inside this narcissist. Let's put the love of Allah, the love of Jesus, like it's easy thing for you to do. It's not, guys. It's not. Well, I'll explain to you why in in next videos, but it's not. It's hard. Took repeated destruction of myself to actually manage to get to this point. It's just not a matter of changing anchors and you get what you want. In any case, now that the anchor's been replaced, I'm calm. The mind has stabilized finally, and I'm enjoying my calmness. But the addiction is still there, you know. At the moment, my punishment reward system is kind of, it's changing. So basically, I don't know how to live my life for a while. Okay, I'm trying to find some other ways to stimulate myself instead of what I did before. So at the moment, I'm pretty mellow, I'm pretty chill. Okay, I suspect the way to get myself into the zone again would be to help people, because the empathy, I got my empathy back, although in a weird way. Again, I'll say that, I'll call that in a different video. That's a clue, of course. Probably will be able to work it out for a while. Alright. I don't know what else to say though. I don't know what else to say. I'm just sad for a lot of different people. But I'm really sad for Sam Vaknin, you know. Dude knows A to Z. Dude knows A to Z about the anchors. The dude knows everything you have to know about being a narcissist. He failed at the end. That's it. He failed at the end. The only thing he needed to do, right, at the end, only thing he needed to do was to let go. That's it. He just needed to go to that edge, right? Let go of that false self. Embrace the true anchor. Okay, lack for a better term, just surrender, you know, just surrender. You're not as good as you think. He just failed there. He'd rather live in his prison, his hell, than to just let go. Because for him, the drug, the fuel, it's just too strong. So it's kind of sad. I hope, but it's not over. It's not the end for him yet. All right, he's still alive. He still has a chance to do it, and I hope he does. Now, not to end in a pessimistic note, guys. Not to end in a pessimistic note. So when I was cured, I had a few options. Option number one was I kept being a narcissist. And why not, right? I know how to change anchors better than most. And I'm just starting out. Right? But the second option was even worse. Okay, the second option was, you know, the first option is basically like Sam Vaknin going to nothingness, right? I don't think you can go back and forth. But the second option was even scarier. So the second option was, since I was clear about what everything was happening already, what if I use my insights for the side of good? Because once you know how people think, you know what people's anchors are, you know that people's already destabilized anyway. You just need to give them a nudge. and you basically can affect behaviors or whatever. Also, since you know what will affect behavior, you can use it for yourself, right? Get what you want, help people, so to speak. So this second option is what I call the Lucifer's deal. You know what I'm saying? Being prideful that you can use your own power to help people or whatever. I was lucky also. I rejected that. I was lucky. I was this close. So now I picked the third one. And the third one is I just teach. That's all. I teach. You want to use it, up to you. You don't want to use it, up to you. The reason I teach is because I'm trying to protect myself, one. Because for the rest of my life, that whisper at your back will always be there. Okay? There's always going to be that whisper that says, come on, man. Use me. Use me. Use me. You're a predator. Use me for good. And the only way for me to get that whisper out of the way is if everyone can protect themselves from this thing, right? Then the power has no use. So anyway, it's 30 minutes already. I'm gonna call my son. I'm gonna play some Roblox. So in the coming days, weeks, months, I don't know. I hope a lot of people will resonate with what I'm talking about. I really hope if Coach Pete Sapper can get whatever I'm talking about and turn into something that's palatable for people, that can resonate with them, because I'm a boring guy, man. All right, I'm not exciting on the video. This is not my world, but it's definitely Coach Pete's world. So I hope he can spread the word on how to heal narcissists and heal empath or whatever, All right, so 30 minutes up. See you guys around.